about that political standoff that's happening right now in Texas. You are looking live at a Democratic National Committee press conference near Chicago. Dozens of Texas state lawmakers, they're there. They left the state of Texas as part of an attempt to block a Republican plan to redraw the congressional map. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered their arrest.
Members, a quorum is not present. To those who are absent, return now. Show the courage to face the issues you were elected to solve. Come back and fulfill your duty, because this House will not sit quietly while you obstruct the work of the people. The people of Texas are watching, and so is the nation. And if you choose to continue down this road, you should know there will be consequences.
Now, those Texas Democrats who left the state say Republicans are to blame for holding up the special session and preventing aid for victims of last month's deadly flooding. Texas Democrats in Congress agree and say it's all to appease President Donald Trump and earn him votes through racist gerrymandered maps. Now, President Trump, he was the one who pushed for the proposal, which could give the GOP 5 more seats in the House during next year's very crucial midterm elections. Here's what he had to say about that on CNBC just this morning.
You notice they go to Illinois for safety, but that's all gerrymandered. California's gerrymandered. We should have many more seats in Congress in California. It's all gerrymandered. And we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
They're entitled to 5 more seats if they can gerrymander those districts and get the 5 more seats. But what are we going to do? Continue to support a bunch of Democrats who are pretending that they're fighting for people? They're out there trying to make sure that you're not disenfranchised, that they make sure you had a right to vote. That's what they're saying. But when you get the right to vote and you use it and you vote these people in office, and then what do? They run to Chicago and hold press conferences and try to convince the people in Texas that they're fighting for them. That's some straight bullshit. They should really go back and deal with it, face the music. It would look noble of them to be standing in that chamber, participating in the business of the people in their state. Whether they agree with what the majority is about to do or not, if that majority is not about to violate a law or do something that you can call a court and get shut down, and especially if it's something that across the board Democrats are guilty of doing, it just looks like a bunch of ridiculousness. They need to stop, go back to Texas and get the quorum, enough members so they can have a quorum and get it going. Get the business in Texas. They just had a natural disaster there. And you guys got time to justify it pisses me off because you think as lawmakers, their priority would be getting the people on the ground who have suffered a disaster, the people who need money, who need help, get back there and do what you can do. The Republicans are going to do what they're going to do, but then afterward, there are going to be some things that you guys are going to have to work together on. There's some of you who have a district or two that you need to be concerned with. Did it have any damage? How are your people doing? Wouldn't you be better off down in the county or the district that you represent than being in Chicago? What is going on with that? And why should anybody pat you on the back and pray that whatever the hell it is you're trying to do comes to pass? First, the Republicans are going to do what the Republicans want to do. They got the majority. They are legally entitled to do whatever it is they're about to pull off in Texas. And as a result of that, there are other governors, Newsom, for one, who's talking about retaliating by increasing the seats in California. Who cares? Who gives a damn? Texas has more of an opportunity to turn purple, blue, maybe, with the amount of people who have flooded into that state from California and from Mexico and become legal citizens. And a lot of for the Republicans, thank God, all of those Latinos who come to Texas don't vote Democrat. All of them don't agree with the Democratic policies or the Democratic lifestyle, which could be up to and including homelessness. So I really wonder, how can you have a fight or flight type response and choose flight? That's your options, and you choose flight. You get the hell out of there, and you feel that by prolonging the inevitable, you're going to be doing a good thing, and your people are going to say their heart was in the right place. Nah, you guys got to get back there and find a way to grow your constituencies. Get some of the people who maybe Trump is rubbing the wrong way. And, these are people's actual districts that are being affected. It's going to affect 5 seats. That's pretty significant in the state. And you think that people would want to be more aware of what's going on and not supporting the people who are screwing them. You've been elected to do a job. You are doing like a catch-22 on those people. You're telling them we need to leave the state so that you can keep the right to vote for us who ain't back there in Texas representing you. But it's important that you get the right to vote for us so we can lead the state. So, you know what I'm saying? They ain't going nowhere with nothing. They got no plan for these people. Wherever these districts are that they're redrawing, and if it picks up Trump's folks 5 seats, would the Democrats do that if they had the opportunity at this time? Let's say at this moment, they were out of other options. They had nothing else they could do to gain ground on this Trump administration and possibly change the dynamics in Congress in this midterm coming up. Would they do it? What would they do? That's probably why they in the damn place they in. But they probably wouldn't even think about it. They probably think they got it together and going to get it. Hopefully, at this point, they realize this is politics and you're not always going to be in the majority. People are beginning to open their eyes. You went through a whole generation and a half of folks who kind of just voted blue no matter who. I think those days are over. A lot of these folks tend to be more concerned with different type of stuff. And it's important that they are. But there's no way that we can be patting this group of Democrats on the back for basically abandoning the state. And it doesn't matter if they're leaving at a time that's of high priority for the flood victims. None of that matters. Just the day-to-day business, taxes, resources, infrastructure, the things that they have to be there for, that they should be there for. And if the people who voted them in office did what they asked them to do, which is vote for me, I'll set you free kind of a speech, and they do it, and then when, the chips are down, you're in Chicago holding a press conference. That would make me upset as a person who gave my vote.
And here is just a bit of what we just heard from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker at that DNC press conference. Again, this was just moments ago.
Decided that the only way to save themselves is to cheat, to change the rules in the middle of the game. And what do MAGA Republicans in Texas do when Donald Trump ignores, his oath of office and theirs, and when they're taking it upon themselves to thwart the will of the American people? Well, they say, when Donald Trump calls, they say, yes, sir. Right away, sir. Happy to lick your boot, sir.
We have team coverage of the Texas redistricting showdown, and standing by for us right now is CBS News Texas reporter Trevor Sohaki in Texas. And we also have CBS News political director Finn Gomez in Washington. And Finn, we are going to start with you today. The Democrats, they are clearly making this a national focus. What is your take on that strategy?
Yeah, if you remember, Mugo, just a few months ago, there was this sense from polling that we saw that the Democratic base was basically upset at their party leaders because they were not fighting enough to counter Trump. I think this plays into that need and that request by their base voters. But also, I spoke to some Democrats who say that this redistricting fight is part of a much bigger pattern. Republican-led states or potentially potential states were drawing maps to entrench power ahead of the midterms and beyond. on, frankly, especially in places with rapidly drawing demographics like Texas, where there's been an increase in population of both Black and Latino voters. Texas Democrats are.
That's another part that really pisses me off is there is a big, basically a shift in the racial makeup of Texas. Hispanics and blacks. A lot of blacks are moving to Texas. Texas gives you a lot of land for a reasonable amount of money. It's one of those places a lot of people are flocking to. But it just seems like the Democrats feel like they're ours. They belong to us. Those are our votes. Well, why are they your votes? Why should any black people that you are fighting for so the redistricting doesn't happen, so they have the ability to have a stronger voting bloc for Democrats as opposed to it being moved around so that they're weaker? But why? Why should they feel like, yeah, you're fighting for us and yeah, thank you. And what have you done other than won an election because they voted for you? But after winning that election, can you sit down, you group who are out there wasting time and running, and write down a list of shit that you have done for your district? Because I'm hearing that some of these districts are being redrawn where some Democrats might not even be in Congress no more. This is going to be very good. It's going to be very bad for people who sit around and do nothing all day and think that they're going to get away with it and continue to lie to people and make you feel like they're fighting for you when they're somewhere drinking coffee and cracking jokes. They think this shit is fun. Who's paying for these hotel rooms? Is this on their own dime? Do they pay for this, or is this considered government business? Because if it is, I would damn sure not vote for any of them. I just think that it's crooked. And even if they're paying for their own, why are they on mini vacations? Why are they not back in Texas where they were elected, fighting and talking and interacting with the Republicans and making a deal? Hey, we're not going to hold up what you guys are inevitably going to do. So we're going to come on in, but you guys got to show us some love on this disaster relief. We're going to push a little harder than we were, man. Come on. These people, are we going to smear you in the public and let everybody know we pushed our differences aside to get back here, get in session, and, badmouth them that way. But be present. Have your ass in the seat. You were voted in. And it's important that you be there for that reason, if nothing else, because you guys can't stand it. You guys can't stand those huge pieces of legislation being pushed through and you got no power, no pull. You just got to sit there and watch it. That should make you campaign differently. That should make you guys go in a different direction. I see absolutely nothing different. And I think when we get to the end of the short road before we turn left or right, the Democrats are going to be disappointed if they lose because they're going to think how terrible Trump is and what a horrible president he is. And look at his cabinet and look at his car and look at his kids and look at his dog and look at his wife. Everything y'all want to talk about does not make the Democrats any better. And you guys are making some goddamn valid points about that Trump character. But what do you have to give us to contrast that on the Democratic side? As low as he is, where's the high? Where's the competence? Where's the leader? Who is the leader? Is it Jasmine Crockett? What's going on with the Democrats? You guys are so clouded and your vision is locked on Trump because that's all the Democrats. One thing after the Epstein and this and that. And you know what? The Epstein file is going to need to come out. That shit's going to have to happen. Trump, I don't know how he gonna deal with that, but I'm telling you, this dude is on the ropes. He gonna need some support. He gonna need some friends. We need to get over there and make a deal. We need to talk to him about, you know what? Some of these districts that you gerrymandered, we in them. And we can work it out where you can blow this thing out the water. But what we gonna get? We got midterms coming up, fellas. We got midterms coming up, folks. We got midterms coming up, and we sitting here applauding people who've abandoned the process, who left. The damn state house can't even convene in Texas because they ain't showing up. And they think that will garner more support. I don't see it. And I think we as black people need to get off the bus, get the fuck off and let them know we not playing no part of that shit. And I bet you they'll stop. I bet they'll get their ass back to Texas. We are so important to them, but they don't treat us like we are. They don't give us anything that's exclusively ours, because that would be un-American. But it ain't un-American for us to exclusively vote for them. It ain't un-American for everybody else to exclusively get shit. And then they say, oh, no, it's not exclusive. It's just that you're not a Native American. It's just that you're not an illegal immigrant. It's just that you're not Asian. It's just, we're not a whole lot of shit. But you know what we are? We're black. And we're oppressed and we're tired of the shit. And it'd be good if them people would get back in their seats. It just pisses me off to think, you guys, y'all don't get mad. Like, what if this was your state? And some of you, I hope it is. And by the way, let me know where you guys living at. Just drop your state. If it's Texas, I want to see if I got any folks from Texas. And give me a little feeling of how y'all feeling about that. Do you guys support that? Do you, Republican or Democrat, whatever, independent, do you guys support that on either side? Do you guys think if the Democrats were about to do it and the Republicans walked out, that any of us should feel any different? We should feel the exact same. Get your ass back in there and turn the lights on and start voting for shit. That's the way it's supposed to go down. That's what the government does. That's how it's run.
Trying to spotlight what they call a partisan power grab aimed at disenfranchising voters and rigging future elections, but not just to rally their base in the Lone Star State, but to mobilize voters nationally and fundraise nationally also. They're also playing into like a broader strategy focusing on voting rights, representation, and the balance of power in Congress ahead of next year's elections, as you mentioned. We are also seeing that domino effect that we talked about, the Texas fight spreading into other states held by Democrats and Republicans. In California, Governor Newsom of that state saying yesterday that he will, quote, fight fire with fire, and said they are looking to their at redrawing their own maps to counter the Texas Republicans. And CBS has learned that California Democrats have said that drafts of these maps are, quote, almost done. Mugo.
All right, Finn. Thank you. Now let's.
They were probably going to do it anyway. Texas just beat them to it. California had plenty of time coming up to redraw the maps and see, hey, shit, they picked up seats in Texas, or this seat over here is going to be close, or we've got a battle going on here. And in order to offset that and hopefully gain a majority in the House, yeah, the Democrats will do that shit. And if they weren't already planning it, they just were going to be quiet about it. And if the Republicans didn't scream too loud, especially after doing Texas, the Democrats could have did California and just bite your lip and just be pissed, because it's what happens. It is what it is. Nobody don't like it. But if you guys don't like it so much, don't do it when you're in power. When you're in power and you have the control and the opportunity to vote that kind of stuff out so it won't be done again. And with the Republicans... with the Republicans being in the minority at a time like that, you could get a whole bunch of them to vote for. You could be like, look, we're going to put it on the table. We can get rid of gerrymandering. All of our Congress can get together and vote for it. Get rid of the gerrymandering. Get rid of all of that stuff. Whatever y'all don't like, put in a big old bucket and vote on it. And the side that's in power that could barely pass it, if they all stick together and barely pass it, can pass it. But if they want to pass it where it can't be touched, they can get some of the people in the minority to say, hey, if you guys help us, we can put this out of reach. We can get 3/4 of a vote and put this out of reach. It'll be a done deal instead of just barely passing it. Y'all want to lock this down and make sure we don't gerrymander anymore, either side? The Republicans and the Democrats are twins on that part. And I think the Democrats whine a little harder, though. It's like because they feel that the Democrats are more ignorant and the Democrats have no idea that they gerrymander. Because if somebody tells you, look at him doing this and doing that, and you're going like, I know, what the hell? Who does he think he is? And then when you go home, you find out the person who pointed all those things out to you does the same shit. How would you feel? That's how we should be feeling right now. We should be basically not supporting that shit and letting them know it so that they can get their tickets and go back. And hopefully reimburse the state for anything that if it ain't nothing but for their time. They are receiving paychecks for this shit, and they actually feel justified going to Chicago and holding press conferences. They're getting paid. They're on the fucking clock.
Bring in CBS News Texas reporter Trevor Sohaki. Trevor, thank you for joining us again today on 24/7. What's been the reaction in Texas as this showdown plays out on the national stage?
I mean, like I told you before, Mugo, this showdown really has reverberated throughout the entire state because Texans have seen this before. Texas Democrats have left the state before. They have tried to bring a lot of attention to these issues when they leave the state. They've done it decades ago. They've done it years ago. So they keep trying to bring this attention to this. And just like the press conference that we were just watching earlier, they continue to bring it up and they continue to try and bring this issue to other states as well to, again, bring this to a national stage because like you heard earlier, like Finn just mentioned, if they can fight fire with fire, if the Democrats can do that, then maybe they can pick up those seats where the Texas Republicans are giving more seats to the GOP. Maybe California can give more seats to Democrats. We see that in Illinois. Illinois has a lot of seats that are basically Democrat seats, and we see that they're trying to do that in New York. Maybe it's unconstitutional there. They're still figuring that out over there. But again, we are seeing them try and reverberate this issue throughout the entire nation.
Well, if the Republicans are successful in their gerrymandering, and if I was a black person living in Texas and I end up in a district that used to be black, but now they've redrawn my shit where a Republican's going to win the district I live in, that Republican's ass would be on fire. I would be calling him, writing him, visiting him, and organizing to get down there and let him know, you just inherited us. And we're a part of your district now, and you're going to do some shit for us. It ain't about all just numbers, and it ain't about that game of politics you guys play. You won. It worked. Now break off some benefits in this area. Hook us up. You ain't down there just accept. That's what we got to do, you guys. We got to get up and advocate for ourselves, no matter who's in power. Based on the part of the country that you live in, there's a fight to be had. There's a national fight to be had as well, but we need to get ourselves on some grassroots local shit. We need to get ourselves together. You know, have you ever been somewhere and, you know, at a dinner or something where everybody ain't blood related, you know, and some people like to pray before they eat or break bread, you know, and they get around the table or where the food is, drunk, whatever, everybody doing, and take that moment to all hold hands and pray. Have you ever been in a circle like that? You know, as a black person, I'm speaking from my perspective, and you first off go toward the circle, making sure you're gonna get near somebody whose hand you don't mind holding. You don't just walk over there and just grab them, you know. And then it's just sometimes you can't control where you are in that group, in that particular group. But whether it's a man or a woman or whose hand you end up holding or whatever, it's very weird because it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like something that is in everybody's hearts and everybody really grabs hands. Now, I've done that in family gatherings and felt a different vibe, but that's in blood-related family. I understand that. But when you're around close friends and colleagues, you kind of expect people to be a little more loving, a little more, you know, especially when drinks is involved. You think people could kind of chill a little, and I think that's probably what makes them even hold hands at all. I've been in areas where some people avoid holding, you know, no one really pays attention, but their hands just hanging there. They didn't reach out and grab that other person's hand. And I just feel like those are the things we need to work on. The little things, to acting like adults, not allowing them to look at this action that these Texans are taking and call it good trouble. They just down there getting in good trouble. No, they're not. That kid's getting good trouble. And slaves. And these people are neither. They're not getting in good trouble. They're down there wasting time. They're not in trouble. They should be. Their people back home should be yelling for them to get back. And then let them make up their mind if they feel, oh, we know what's best for you. You guys just chill. You're going to get gerrymandered, but we're going to waste some time before you. That's what I'm saying. What is that all about? Go back and get the people gerrymandered and get moving. Get on with the business that you can do. There's got to be some things in your district that you can do. You're a sitting congressman. You can do some shit. Instead of getting on the mic and threatening to beat down Donald Trump. How did that sound? Coming from a congressperson. We're going to beat down Donald Trump. We need to be worried about a relationship with anybody who holds that seat being transactional and based on business and good sense and ideas, and no more of this giving away our. We are sitting in a place where if we don't do something quick, it's getting harder and harder to even make sense out of it. People look at us and be like, what are you talking about? You guys were slaves? Really? No. Don't even believe it. So we've been overshadowed by all the nation's other tragedies and the lack of a good educational system and so many new people pouring into the country that our history isn't on the forefront of everybody's mind, and it isn't in everybody's textbooks.
And Trevor, we don't want to ignore the other important issue in this special session, which is relief for the victims of last month's deadly flooding. What happens if this session ends without addressing that?
I mean, simply put, they'll probably call another one. That is up to Governor Greg Abbott, though. He is the one who can decide whether a special session is called or not. These special sessions, they last for a month. You can call one, you can call two. He's called multiple special sessions before. Governors have called multiple special sessions before. This is a very important issue. Democrats tried to get votes on special sessions on this issue of flood relief and flood response. They tried to get these votes to happen before the redistricting vote. That they could not make happen. Of course, Republicans wanted to get this redistricting vote in while the Democrats were still in the state. So now there's this showdown over that as well. Obviously, the Democrats have delayed this vote on redistricting, but in effect, that's also delayed the votes on flood response and flood recovery, both of which were mentioned in the press conference as well, with Democrats blaming Republicans for delaying this by using redistricting. So a lot of back and forth here between both sides, of course.
Yeah. Plenty of back and forth. CBS News reporter Trevor Sohaki, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Now let's go back to CBS News political director Finn Gomez. And Finn, I want to take a closer look at this redistricting fight. Texas, we know, is already solidly red. So why this push to redraw the map?
Because California is solidly blue and there's a push to redraw their map. Just because California appears to be doing it in retaliation to what Texas is doing, there is no guarantee that California wasn't going to do that anyway. And if it would give them more seats in Congress and the goal is to win, then it would be inevitable that they were going to do it. They just hadn't done it yet. And it makes them look like it's just a retaliatory act and that they're the victim. And the Democrats in Texas are just fighting the good fight and they're being attacked. And it's nothing can be further from the truth. May the best man win, and may the black people negotiate with them. That's how I feel about it.
That's a great question, Mugo. So why the urgency? It comes down to this. They have a short window now, Republicans do, in locking in power ahead of the midterms, not just the midterms, but potentially for the next decade. Republicans are trying to shore up vulnerable districts and blunt Democratic gains, especially in fast-growing suburbs and communities of color, which, the goal is to make swing areas less competitive and keep red districts red, frankly, even as, the Texas population changes. And as I mentioned, Texas has seen this explosive growth in Latino, Black, and Asian populations that mostly lean blue, even though the Republicans made significant gains with Latino voters in last year's election. But the redrawing of these lines now gives Republicans a chance to get ahead of the trend and keep the upper hand politically for years to come. Also, if you recall, Mugo, with 40 electoral votes and one of the largest House delegations in the country, with what happens in Texas, it can tip the balance of power in Washington.
Oh, yeah, it sure can. CBS News political director Finn Gomez in Washington for us today. Thank you for joining us.
Damn, when you really think about it, folks, and we have to be honest here, this ain't going nowhere for the Democrats, this particular one. What is the purpose? To delay? To bring more attention to it? I wouldn't want to. That this isn't going to guarantee that the Democrats have such horrible ideas when it comes to what's going to help them win the midterms. Yeah, we'll bring attention to their gerrymandering and then people will support us. Well, you gerrymandered. They don't even think about that part. You got to think like past just the initial gotcha to, well, got us too. Can't really do that shit. Why do the Democrats not change? Because if the Democrats change, it might be bad. They have some shit going on in that party that they've been getting away with for a long time, not doing anything for black people. We're way, way overrepresented. We have so many black politicians in the United States of America for us to be in the position we're in. Who are they fighting for? What are they doing? How can you be in such of a position of influence and not do anything for your people? Nothing. You think like other people who do things for their people, even though other folks can benefit from it. Other people can get a little pinch of the sweetness, but it's usually written and geared primarily for a particular group. Name something that they packaged up for us other than prison. And we really had the majority of it or exclusivity, if that's a word. I mean, why do they keep us away from anything good? We want what everybody else wants. And that's real shit. And don't feel bad about being black. Don't feel bad about talking about being black. Don't be talking about nothing else but being black, be honest. Because there's not enough of that going on right now. It really ain't. And it's kind of becoming a watered down subject and a watered down topic. And we've been miseducated so much over the years that I find myself saying things that are historically incorrect just because of conditioning. And our conditioning in this country has overtaken our education. Education is good. And I feel, generally speaking, black people are pretty well educated in this country. In the reading and writing, and I mean they're not doing that horribly bad where we have pretty decent rates of literacy. But what we have is the conditioning is that we do things that aren't logically like easy to justify, to think about in a way like why they do that or why do they do that? Why do they continue is what other people would be on the outside looking in saying. Why do the blacks continue to support the Democrats when the Democrats never do anything for them? But the black people tend to be having a support like this is the best we can get because that other party really hates us. Instead of thinking, you both hate us, but we can negotiate with either one of you independently and whoever's negotiation goes the best. Just like if you're trying to get a contract in a business and you're going to clean up their office suites at night. You got to sit down and negotiate. But other people are going to be coming in and negotiating with them as well for that same job. That's what we need. The job that they want is our vote. They want that. They want us to give them that. And if we do, then we have to find out what they're going to do for us. What is the plan? And if we sit here and go, well, we know we got to vote for y'all exclusively, but you can't do anything for us exclusively. That's the dumbest shit in the world. And say like, well, we ain't voting for you exclusively then. We ain't fucking voting for you at all. Let's get it clear. You will give us some shit and then we'll vote for you. And if they gonna give us more shit, we gonna vote for them. And then ain't no harm, no hurt feelings. The Democrats don't seem to hate other groups when they switch back and forth or when they tend to lean right at particular times in our country's history. They let them right back into the tent with no problems and no issues. But it's like we're afraid, like they're not going to be our friend no more. As long as we have voting rights, they're going to be our friend. They ain't going no damn where. And unfortunately, it don't look like we going no goddamn where either. So we got to get our shit together. And like, comment, share, and please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.